Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Red Room. We have a great show for you today. We're going to be discussing Tim Walz, continuing to deliver a good message for the Democrats. Democrats had a messaging problem. They seem to have figured it out with Tim Walz. Next up, we also have Trump talking about Mike Pence and the way that Kamala Harris treated him, which is super ironic. Will be a funny clip that we can talk about. Next up, we have conservative commentator Tim Walz suing the Kamala Harris campaign over using his own words. After that, we have we're going to be talking about J.D. Vance continuing to suck. So post the Obama era, Democrats have had a really hard time getting the message across to a lot of people. There's a reason why. There was a coalition. I like to call it the Hillary Coalition. It's made up of a lot of elite, Ivy League educated political commentators and political analysts who simply don't know how to talk to the common man. And after Tim Walz was picked, I remember specifically texting Rob and saying, hey, he was the pick. Tim Walz was the pick. He's able to talk to people that, for a long time, the Democratic Party just didn't know how to reach working class people in a way that Tim Walz can. Tim Walz, it almost seems like he's been doing this for his whole life, which in a way he kind of has. He's been in the military service, so I think he probably knows how to talk to a large swath of people, just the way that, Obama was able to kind of reach a certain part of the electorate, like the working class electorate, that other candidates just weren't able to do. Like Hillary Clinton was not able to keep up with that momentum later on in her campaign, and she struggled for it. So Tim Walz brings a lot of that fire back to the political party, and he is so good at what he does. So this is one of the first clips that we want to share with you. So this is Tim Walz speaking to a crowd. Last week we talked about on the show, the Republican Party just does not know how to be the party of freedom anymore. They just want to be the party of control. And Tim Walz, absolutely effective messaging here.
I know. We all know this. I remember a time when Republicans talked about things like freedom. They meant it. They would never turn their back on our allies. But that's not these guys. Trump and Vance, when they talk about freedom, means government should have the freedom to invade every corner of our life. They talk about small government, small enough to be in your bedroom, small enough to be in your exam room, small enough to be in your library, telling you the things that you should make decisions about. So let's be very clear. Where I come from and where you come from as neighbors, we respect differences. That's your opinion. Look, we're sitting here together, Brewers and Twins fans, Vikings and Packers. Look, we respect it. But on things like health care and what books I read and democracy, we all live by that very simple golden rule. Mind your own damn business. Mind your own business.
He's fantastic.
God, he's good. He's good, man.
He's so good at it. Yeah, he's so good.
She made such a good decision. You're right, man. Like, this is the candidate that she really needed to pick in order to get that enthusiasm. I mean, he's just got dad energy, he's got that lovable dad energy, unlike your dad who beat you. But besides that, he's very personable, and the way that he speaks, oh my God, compared to J.D. Vance, he looks Jesus Christ, man. It's unreal how J.D. Vance goes to a speech. There's maybe 5 people there. They look like they don't even care. They just want proximity to Trump. Whereas when people go and see a Walz speech, I mean, they're fired up. He speaks to them, not like he is above them. He could just really relate to the average everyday person. And that's why the polls are showing Harris and the Walz campaign are blowing out the competition. People were talking about a red wave at some point was going to happen. I think it's over. The election is over at this point. The Democrats have all the momentum. Trump's out here, just going on the news saying that, teachers are performing gender reassignment surgery in third period. It's, it's a wash at this point. I'm going to call it right now, man. I feel like this election is toast. As long as people just go out and vote, Trump doesn't have a chance in hell.
Yeah, I think they're cooked, and I think the messaging is showing that. I heard somebody say it once, the only thing that really can bring the election back for Trump is if Biden for some reason started a war, a full-scale war somewhere, or if actually I think that was or an economic crash. But I think you're right about the way that the messaging is. And the thing is too, can you imagine Josh Shapiro delivering the speech? Could you imagine J.D. Vance delivering the speech? You can't.
Josh Shapiro, I think that he is a decent candidate, but not the right one to pair with Kamala Harris. I think that, Tim Walz's energy is more of I would just say more of an empathetic, more caring voice, whereas Josh Shapiro is more of a, like
he's a little bit of a chameleon. He tries to be something that he's not. And a lot of people, give him the criticism of sounding too much like Obama. You watch some of those clips, you watch Obama and Josh Shapiro making the same statements, and it's almost like Josh Shapiro has completely stolen Obama's flow. I mean, he's like literally taking his entire
bar for bar.
He's taking his style. It's crazy. I cannot imagine somebody like JD Vance giving this speech either. Nobody would believe him, first off, but he just doesn't have the wordsmithing, and he doesn't have the charisma to deliver a speech like this. If he delivers a speech to a group of working class people, they're not going to listen. They're not there for him. They're there for Donald Trump. Yeah, when people go to Kamala's speeches, they like to hear what Tim Walz has to say, and that's something that is very important when you're somebody's VP pick. People do want to hear you because at some point you also are the one that's campaigning. This is a classic Trump mistake to let JD Vance continue to campaign for him, and I don't know if Trump just doesn't have the energy to do it anymore, but at some point I would look at the situation and realize nobody wants to hear me anymore. Whereas, when I look at Tim Walz, it's like I want to see Tim Walz more. And I'm not saying that I want to hear him more than Kamala Harris, but I do want to see more of him because he just continues to deliver the message for the Democrats in a way that nobody else has.
This guy has made it clear how he stands. He's sitting down at Mar-a-Lago after he got elected president, and this was his exact quote. He's talking to a bunch of folks at Mar-a-Lago. You're rich as hell, and we're going to give you a tax cut. At the same time, he was telling workers they get paid too much already. That's who this guy is. You tell me who in Wisconsin is sitting around saying, damn, I wish they'd give billionaires tax cuts and screw me over. Damn, I wish they'd take my health care away. I wish they'd underfund my public school. I wish they would make my job more difficult and more dangerous. And then at the end of the day, I wish they'd make me work till I'm 75 years old. No one's saying that. No one's asking for that agenda. What they're asking for is to be treated fairly with dignity. That's what we have.
Damn good. Just
keeps it going, man. That's the thing. He's hammering down the message. He's making sure people know what the Democrats are about this election cycle and just continuously pointing out the negatives in the Republican Party. It's, it's just incredible to see this. Like, a few months ago when Biden was still the candidate, people were walking around like, oh, man, I guess I'll vote for, Biden. Nobody was enthused. We have so much enthusiasm now on the Democratic side. It's palpable, and it's really incredible that the Democrats listened, I would guess, for once, taking out Joe Biden as running again. But wow, what a speech! What a speech!
Yeah, and not only listening in the sense that they picked Kamala Harris to run, but also picked Tim Walz to be her running mate. I think a lot of people in the base wanted this to happen, me included. I never thought it would happen. I think that, if you look at policy-wise, I think Tim Walz is probably on the same side as Bernie Sanders. But you can't really call him a communist because it doesn't stick the same way that it sticks to Bernie Sanders. It does not work the same way for Tim Walz. Nobody really believes this guy's a communist. These are just, if anything, this is what all Americans want. Most Americans support education. Most Americans support abortion. He is just talking to the everyday average American and bringing, like I said, the message back in a very palpable way. And also compared to what J.D. Vance is doing and Donald Trump is doing, these guys aren't appealing to the working class anymore. I mean, these guys are actively trying to destroy unions, talking shit about workers, people talking about black jobs. I mean, what the hell are these talking about?
I think a lot of people are just waking up to that kind of messaging.
They are.
There's a good amount of people that may be uninformed voters, but they ended up kind of seeing, because of how frequent it is, the hypocrisy in a lot of their policies and a lot of their actions in the past. And luckily, I think a lot of those people will switch up either to going Democrat or Jill Stein, I guess, or whoever. Or RFK, I guess, as well.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah, he's such a... I mean, he's going to draw so many votes away from the Democrats, because the Democrats are the party of anti-vaxxing